Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Steady Focused. I'm your host. I'm your number one, Mr. SimeonHendrix. And yeah, I've got another incredible guest on the show. I'm very excited about this. So, okay, the guest is a good friend of mine, Mrs. Lelani Lei. And when I think of words to describe her, things like nomad come to mind. Things like one of the most authentic, genuine human beings I've ever met come to mind. Rock and roll comes to mind. Performer comes to mind. Podcaster, just an all-around awesome human being. So when we kind of went back and forth and we decided we want to do this episode, I mean, it's just awesome. I've known her for a long time, and I'm very excited to share and shine the light on Lelani Lei. So guys, please help me give a huge, steady, focused welcome to my friend, Mrs. Lelani Lei.
Wow, what an introduction.
Was that good?
Yeah, you should introduce me like everywhere I go.
That's what I'm going to do. You keep me in your little bag, and then like you knock on the door, I'll pop out.
I'll just pull you out. I'll be like,
hey, here he is. You're like, who is this girl? Oh, let me tell you who she is.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
Yeah. How's the day going?
It's a day. It's Friday, which is always good. But
yes.
I've got a show tomorrow, and I've got a birthday party tomorrow. So I've been trying to do a bunch of stuff, and it's been busy.
Yeah, well, and we're going to get right back into your band. That's going to be a big thing. But I want to I want to pump you up a little bit more. So we were down watching you and your band, Everything in Between, performing downtown Wichita Falls a couple of months ago before the second wave of COVID came on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling my fiance, soon to be wife, Brittany, about you. And again, just using those words, authentic and just a real human. So that's one thing. I'm just going to go straight into it.
Yeah.
As long as I've known you, you've seemed so self-confident in a way that you didn't give a fuck, if it was, you know what I'm saying? Like if it was going to offend somebody, not that you're offensive because you have a huge heart.
Can't
just, there you go. Hey, you can protect yourself.
Yeah.
So where does that come from?
Oh wow. Where does that come from? I don't know. I think when I think back to when I was real young, something about me, like my mom, she was a single mom for a little while, just me and my sister. And she was divorced, but then she did get remarried and stuff. So growing up as a kid, I personally did not feel confident at all. Life was a little confusing for me. I wasn't sure, where I belonged. When I went to Owl Park, started going to Owl Park, as you showed up as a new kid in Owl Park too at one point. Luckily mine was, back in the third grade, so I had time to grow into that. But I was just trying to find my place really. And I don't know, thinking back, I know that I tried to do whatever I could for attention. And I think that I did that because of the divorce and, the new marriage that my mom had. And so I was just trying to find my place. And I finally really hit my stride when I hit high school. And that's when you met me, was during high school.
Yeah.
I think I just got to the point where I realized that whether I was me or if I was trying to pretend to be somebody else or anything like that, it always boiled down to people liked me when I was just me. When I was just me, the way that I am, and without trying to put on a show or anything like that, people just liked me for the way that I was. And this is going to sound a little braggadocious, but
bring it.
Senior year of high school, I was voted the most favorite in our whole entire class. And I think for me, that was just a really big confidence boost to say, you know what, like you're you and you're doing you and people like you for it. And so I kind of just stuck with that.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, I mean, right now you're seeing Lonnie, she's kicking back t-shirt, but I mean, this woman has had shaved head, she's been an extreme human such as myself in a great way. So so to think in high school that, yeah, which, man, high school has been for a lot of us, it's just a lot of things.
Yeah.
Hey, woo, yeah, that's a whole
Well,
thing.
the life that I've lived in is as many places that I've lived, and I've traveled, and I've lived in big cities and small towns, and met a lot of people from all over the world, really.
Yes.
I am super, super thankful to have grown up and have gone to a very small school.
Okay.
Um, and as
Why?
we're all real close knit, even
Yeah.
though, we all had our differences growing up or whatever. But I think the fact that we're adults now, we have that we can go back to. Like, you know what? You and I share that. Like, we went to a small school. We all experiences, those struggles together. We were a
Yeah.
close knit group, and I appreciate it for sure.
And I love that you're talking about your world travels.
Mm.
That's let's do a quick kind of a lightning round, one word thought association. So I'm going to say a word, and you
Okay.
just kind of tell me the first thing that pops in your head.
All right. I like it.
Okay, here we go. Let's see where this goes. North Carolina.
Fayetteville.
Traveling.
Camper life.
Texas.
Home.
Alaska.
Oh, I wish it could be home.
There you go. Las Vegas.
Oh, crazy.
Music.
Oh, my love.
Performing. Is it the same?
No, it's not the same. It's definitely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different.
When did you know that you were a performer?
Oh God, when I was little.
Yeah.
My grandfather, he used to video record all of us when we were, kids. And I remember my mom would show us the tapes, from when we were little and stuff and hanging out. And I was always the one that was in front of the camera and going, "Hey, look at me." Da, 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 da. But I was always, like I said, growing up, I was always trying to find myself. And so I think performing really kind of gave me an outlet to try different things.
Yeah.
It allows you to not just be in a box. It allows you to be this person one day or this person another day, and it
Yeah.
kind of gets you out of your own head.
There you
And
go.
I think I really grasped onto that early on in life. Yeah.
Yeah. That was when I met you along the road, it was like, it was just always kind of this girl can sing, and you go and watch you throw down, man, you want to talk about some passion, man, some passion, some deep, like, ooh, bringing it from the deep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
yeah, talk about your singing.
well, like I said, I mean, music is my love. I mean, you're a huge music fan. You understand the way that music can make you feel. One of my favorite things that I've seen, I think it's a famous quote, but it says, music expresses what words can't." And
Mm,
just the feeling of different songs. Obviously, depending on what you're going through in your life, music can hit you in a different way. But I think I realized that I could sing at a younger age, and for me, that's the way that I liked to enjoy my music. I like to know all the words. I like to know all the notes. I
yeah.
like to know all the harmonies, and that's how I enjoyed listening to music, was by singing the music. And it just kind of grew from there. I've always sung, always. It's just been something I've loved to do. And
I
luckily, I'm not too bad at it.
Yeah, you're great. It's soul, like soul and just genuine. And yeah, you definitely have your own flavor. I'm as you're describing these things, I'm thinking, now we've got 3 kids, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking in the car and them singing, and I'm thinking of your sister and you two in the car. So
Yeah.
take us back to then. What happens when
Oh,
you know all the lyrics? What is she telling you? What
oh my
is she
gosh.
saying?
She's famous. I tell this story all the time. Is my sister would mess up lyrics all the time, and I would correct her, and I'd stop her going, "No, that's not it. It's the wrong word." And she'd go, "Yeah, that's what I said. You just heard me wrong." I'm like,
Yeah.
"No." But she would pretend. But no, I think, and for me, it brings me back to when my mom was just a single mom. It was, my sister, me, my mom, and that was it. And we grew up pretty poor. I mean, we did a lot of couch surfing and staying at people's houses and things like
Oh
that.
wow. Okay.
And we didn't have TV, and I mean, we didn't even have, like, a set spot to live. So music was a big thing for us. We listened to music all the time. That's all we did was we'd sing and we'd dance, and mom would sing with us. And I think that's just something, it's like a comfort food, it's just something that makes me feel comfortable, and it kind of reminds me, it kind of grounds me. But yeah, it's just always it's come super easy to me. My band always says, it's like, how do you know the lyrics to all these songs? I'm like, I don't know. They get stuck in my head.
you channel, you've got this like antenna that connects in with the universe, and all of that pain and that emotion and hype and energy that can come through music, you amplify it. Look at that. I'm glad I caught that word. I was like, can I say amplify? I like that.
Yeah, so, I definitely embraced it.
Yeah. So with the band, now we're in we're in November. So COVID hit like 8 months ago.
Right. Like
what is it like being in a band post COVID pandemic or during the pandemic?
I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, obviously the shows stopped, because they shut everything down. And luckily I joined a band that was already pretty well established in this town. So we had a lot of shows. We were always booking shows and stuff. So for it to just shut down like that, we were like, oh. I mean, we do music. We're in a band because we love it. I mean, we all have full-time jobs. We all have bills to pay and things like that. And playing music here in Wichita Falls, that is not a job. So we would do it out of the love of it. So even though we were shut down, we obviously took a few months off where we weren't even practicing. We weren't even getting together at the jam pad or anything like that. But we finally, we're like, okay, none of us are sick. We've all been feeling okay. So we started, practicing again. And still just, doing our craft and doing what we love to do and hang out and jam out. And then once they did a quick open, they opened up for like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
We immediately, we were immediately contacted. Like, hey, will you please come play? Like, we would love to have live music. So that was that downtown show that you said that you saw us at. And
right.
Gypsy Tegan brought us out there to play. And oh my God, it was so much fun. There was so many people, which I know it was COVID, but we were outside and everyone was social distancing, and it was good because we were on this big long street, and so we could, stretch out and stuff. But honestly, it hasn't really changed. Okay. I don't think.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
Has anyone in the band got COVID?
No, not at all.
No one has.
No, we've been staying safe, and I mean, we have people that, someone in the band, she works at a doctor's office. Another one works in, a factory and stuff. So like, we've been doing everything we can to stay safe.
Yeah.
And we've been lucky enough that, we've all stayed healthy. And so we're just trying to keep that track going.
I hear it. It's, it's, as you know, I got it, and it's been about 3 weeks ago, or maybe almost a month since I got it.
Yeah.
And it surprised me, the intensity at which it hit me, someone who I think I'm a healthy young man.
Right.
And so anyway, just be careful. And
you never know. If I start getting a cough, I'm already like, should I go get tested? But and then, I work with kids too. I'm around kids all day long. So that right there is another level. So I'm doing my best to stay safe, and we're going to play as long as people will let us. So
I just peeped into the Facebook comments. I don't know if you can see this, but it's just blowing up. I mean, I don't know if there's like 80 comments in here or something
already.
I mean, it's crazy. You have a freaking fan base, and they're loving this.
And I tell you what, I'm kind of a collector of people in a way.
There you go. Cool. I am.
That's one thing that I've really focused on in my life with all of my travels and all the different jobs that I've had, is making good relationships with people. In my view of the world, what life is all about is making relationships with people. It's not about the cars and the money and the things and the stuff. I don't care about stuff. I care about people. And so I've been blessed enough to have been able to travel all over the country and meet so many people from so many different walks of life. And I mean, I guess the comments are evidence of that I've maintained good relationships with people throughout the years. And I love that. I love my friends. They're great.
Yeah, let's just run through a couple of these. We got, let me see. Yeah, Lonnie is awesome. We've got, that was AK Scott. Yeah. I don't know if that's we're allowed to say
Oh yeah,
real names.
it's my BFF right
Yeah,
there.
I don't know if I can. Yeah, but anyway, AK Scott, and we got Joey is saying Lelani. We got Jim Voodoo, Gideon.
Oh
The wheels on
yeah.
the bus go round and round. I'm proud of you. Lois is saying, can't wait to see you tomorrow. Casey Gauthier, collector of people. This is an awesome quote. Yeah, and everyone who's watching this back, or you're hearing it, or you're wondering, guys, or those of you that are watching, spread the word. You can watch this back on Facebook, or you can go to steadyfocused.com/88, and it'll be right there. You can get the episode on Spotify. It's out there. Let's talk about, take us on a trip, okay? How and why, and just go deep with it.
Okay.
Alaska. Talk about Alaska. How did
Oh,
that come into your life?
that when I think back on it, it probably will make me tear up. Like it was so life-changing for me. So basically I had moved back from Las Vegas. As you know, I lived in Las Vegas for nearly a decade. And that was basically the majority of my 20s, is when I was Vegas. And then once I hit 30, being in Las Vegas in your 30s is not as fun as in your 20s. So it's like, I gotta get out of here. So I decided to come back home. But I just had this feeling when I got back that I wasn't ready to be here yet. I felt like I had more life to live. And something happened. A friend of mine, one of my dear collections that I have, a friend of mine, she had hit me up and she said, "Hey, my dad and brother have a business in Skagway, Alaska that they opened during the summer season for the cruise season. And normally a family member would go up there and work, but they were unable for whatever reason that year to find a family member to go work up there. Would you be willing to go and live in Alaska and work there, and you would live with my dad and you would work in our shop and just experience Alaska?" And I was like, yeah, like I honestly didn't even think about it. I was just like, yes. And I think she asked me because she knew I was having that struggle. Like I just moved home and I wasn't really happy with where I was at and what I was doing. And I'm not married. I don't have any kids. So it was easy for me to just pick up and go. I'm like, yeah, sure. But going up there literally changed my outlook on the world entirely. I was by myself. I knew not even one person. I was living with an old guy that I've never met before in my life. I was like
Wow.
living in a tiny little closet in the back of the shop. And I lived out of my suitcase for about 4 months. And I knew no one. And I actually, when I was there, within a couple of months, I was getting real homesick, because I was lonely. I knew no one. And so I almost came home. I almost left early and decided to come home. But I ended up meeting one person, and they had been to Alaska a few times, so they kind of knew the ropes around there and they knew people and stuff. They're like, well, come hang out with me and let's go over here and let's do this. So I started hanging out more with groups of people, and again, just was myself. And I eventually got accepted, as someone there, to hang out with other people. And by the end of my first summer, I just fell in love. And I realized that like I said, life is about the people that you meet. It's not about what you have, because that was a big eye opener for me, that I survived 4 to 5 months on my own, living out of a suitcase, and I was fine. I was perfectly fine. So I came back to Texas after the summer was over, got rid of all of my stuff. Literally, I got rid of everything I owned. I think I dwindled it down to about two plastic totes, and that was it. That's all I had, because that was my plan. I was going to go to Alaska every summer and travel and all of that. So I was lucky enough to be able to do that for 3 summers in a row.
Wow.
Every time I would come back after the summer was over, I'd come back here to Texas and then, find a job where 8th Street Coffee House or wherever, making some coffee. And then I would go back up to Alaska. And
Gosh.
yeah, it changed my life. It really did. It's literally like stepping back into time. The town that I lived in, we had, there's no fast food, there's no Walmart, there's no traffic lights. It was 20 blocks long and 4 blocks wide. Very, very, very small. And honestly, being there was like being in a show, because it was a cruise town. So a cruise ship would come in, thousands of people would get off the ship. They come into our little town, and we'd put on a show for them. We'd serve them dinner. We'd entertain them. We'd show them our mountain over here and our river over here and blah, 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 blah. And then they'd get back on the ship and they'd leave. And then the next day, another few thousand people would come in and we'd do the same thing. So it was
Wow.
honestly like being on stage. You're performing for all these people that you've never met before, and they're there to see you and experience your life and what you have going on. And then they leave, and then you do it all again the next day. So I think that's why I fell into it pretty easily, because I was used to performing, and I kind of put that mindset on it, like, oh, it's just another show. And it was incredible, man. It's so incredible. And I urge every single person to go to Alaska at least once. And don't go to Anchorage. That's the big city. Go find you a tiny little corner in Alaska and spend some time there. It'll really open your eyes to the world around you, for sure. For sure.
I gosh, I want to go to Alaska so bad. So just I want to hear, tell me what, like, when you close your eyes and you go back there, what is one of the most places that you see in your mind that you're like, oh my gosh?
Oh, just the land around me, honestly. It makes you feel about this big. I felt so tiny. And like I said, I think that's what opened my eyes to just be like, this is what life is about. It's about experiencing the world around you. Excuse me, experiencing the world around you and the people that you meet, and listening to their stories and learning from other people who have lived a completely different life than you. And I think one great thing about being there is every single person that showed up to work there for the summer, we all had that same mindset. We were all looking for something. I called it the land of misfit toys. We were all there. We didn't fit in at home, or we didn't fit in, at a job or something like that. So all these people that I met, they were all there for the same purpose, which was just to experience life and experience something new. And you form this community where we all lived together and worked together and hung out together. And that was our whole life for 5 months. And it was really incredible, very incredible. But yeah, just being there with the mountains and the sky is so different. I've never seen the sky like that. How the sun doesn't go over you. High noon isn't a thing in Alaska because you're so far north. The sun circles around your head. And so that's why
Wow.
it's light a lot like that. So like at 3 a.m, the sun would come up from around a mountain and it would just go around, and then it would disappear behind the mountain again and just come back around. Like, that's what it did. And that was hard to get used to. That was weird. Yeah, it was just, a whole new world. It was a whole new world. Very cool.
I'm gonna jump back into some of the comments, and man, we got our good friend Sean Snyder. He's saying 2 of Wichita. Oh yeah, check that out, Sean. It hurts to be dead. He says 2 of Wichita Falls' dopest souls. That's cool. Liz said, I'm her favorite aunt.
Oh,
yeah, there we go. So yeah, you guys keep commenting, because Lonnie, I'm sure we'll just go back and read all these and just give her some love, guys, because what a human being. Lonnie, talk about, I've got now she's 11-year-old daughter, right? Brittany and I do. And through our blended family. And, she's coming into becoming her own person, finding her own identity, and I told her while she's watching TV this afternoon, I was like, hey, I think you're going to enjoy this conversation that we're going to have. Of course, she doesn't want to listen to what I say, but what do you say to your younger self, or a younger woman out there who is coming in to find their own and, trying to fit in?
Yeah.
And all of this.
I don't know. I mean, obviously everybody's journey is different. What worked best for me is, like I said, just being authentic and just being me, and not being scared to say yes to something that's brand new. Excuse me, gosh. Not having any fear that's going to hold you back from trying something new. If you're presented an opportunity that's something that you might be interested in, but you're not real sure, do it anyways, because you don't know if you're going to like it until you actually do it. So do it. Run the marathon, ride the bike, try out theater, sing music, get into computer programming, play games, like whatever it is that you can try it, because you're not going to know what makes you happy until you can actually experience it in some sort of way. So it's really about just not having any fear and saying yes, and not being afraid to say yes.
There, amen. And
Yeah.
and what was that you typed? I put that the name of this broadcast. Living life with a yes attitude. That was
Yeah.
something you had written to me, and I thought, wow, that's great. What does that line mean to you?
I mean, a lot. I mean, obviously, all of us, I don't care who you are, every single person in this world has experienced some sort of trauma. May it be big, may it be small. Even if it is small, it might be big to you personally. But
Mm,
we've all experienced something that can hold you back. Um, and if you hold on to that, if you don't grow from it, then you are literally just going to get stuck, and you're going to be in
mm,
your box with your walls up around you, and you're not going to trust anyone ever. And you're not going to ever experience anything. You're going to live in, the same town your whole entire life, and you're never going to meet anyone new unless they happen to show up on your doorstep. So yeah, living with a yes attitude is, like I said, just not having any fear, and experience. The world is more than just where you grew up. It's so much bigger than that. And
mm,
you can't grow as a person if you don't allow yourself to.
mm.
If you just keep saying no, and I'm scared and I couldn't do that, and oh, you have so much courage. I hear that a lot. You have a lot of courage to be able to just get up and move away. But for me,
Okay,
it I didn't feel like a courageous person. I just
okay.
felt like someone who wanted to explore. I felt like,
There you go.
I was a curious person for sure, but I wouldn't say I was real courageous. I was just curious, and
Mm.
I wasn't scared to say no or scared to say yes. I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
And what is so awesome has been my personal experience, and from people I've talked to like yourself who have gone for it and pursued their passions. It's like there can be this anxiety or this, oh, I don't know if how it's going to be on the other side. And I'm reminding myself this right now. But when we just take that step and we just
Hmm.
go there, so it's like, oh, I don't know how I could go to Alaska. I don't know how I could go to Las Vegas. I don't know how I could, do this or that. I could never make it. But once we get out there and we take that step and we put ourselves into, you know, a swim required
Right.
situation, we're
You
not
do
going
it.
to die, right? We're
No,
not
you're
going to
gonna be
die.
fine. And
Yeah.
then that's the thing, is like, if once you take that initial first step, that right there is growth. Just taking the step to say yes, and that I will try that. Hey, it might not work out for you, and that's fine. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. You can try something else. I mean, this
But
world is
but at least you know.
right. You tried it, you experienced it. And that's probably why I have so many failed relationships,
Yeah.
boyfriends and stuff in the past, because I was like, yeah, sure, we'll try it. But the flip side of saying yes and not having any fear is you have to be confident enough in yourself to know when it isn't working for you, and to know when you need to step back and kind of reevaluate what you got going on. So that right there is definitely a courage thing that I had to work on. Is to know when also to say no. I'm
Yeah.
so
Okay.
used to
Okay.
saying yes all the time, but there's
Yeah.
also times when you need to say no, and you need to think about yourself and how it's affecting you, and your soul and your mind and your heart, and if it's best for you or not. So it's just taking those leaps and figuring it all out. That's what life is about.
Right. It is. And it's hopefully, we are going to be learning until we're not breathing.
Right.
Hopefully it's like um it's this thing like that. So along your adventure, here you are, you're going places, you're seeing things, you're taking on the world, and then you say, hey, I'm going to drive a bus. What a freaking amazing chapter of your story.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
how does that, do you find yourself at times mentoring to the kids, or is it just chaos kind of the whole time? Or
Well, I kind of just fell into it, honestly. I had gotten to the point because being in a band was a dream of mine. I've always wanted to be in a band. I've sung forever, but it was always a karaoke or something like that. I was never in a band. So I got the opportunity to be in a band, and I was like, I've got to change my life. I got to work my life out to where I can do this. So I focused on finding a job that I had weekends off, I had nights off, and that was my main focus. And then school bus driver, and I was like, oh, well, that would be a perfect schedule for me. So I was like, I've driven before in Las Vegas. I drove a truck in Las Vegas for a while, around there delivering stuff. So I was like, well, I can handle the driving and I'm not worried about that. And I kind of just fell into it. And I had no idea how much I was going to love it.
Wow.
Um, I think the big thing for me with bus driving is the fact that I am almost 40 years old and don't have any kids. It kind of fulfills that like motherly instinct, that a lot of women have. It kind of gives me that sense of purpose.
Okay.
I feel, yeah, it's just a job, but at the same time, it's a really purposeful job. A
Okay.
lot of people count on me, and I think I work better when I have a lot of responsibility. And with the kids, for the most part, they just kind of keep quiet and keep to themselves. And I think they forget that I'm there a lot. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
Like,
bet.
I'm like, I can hear everything you're saying right now.
You're
They're like,
like,
oh, oh,
I'm a real person. I have dreams of my own,
yeah,
like,
for
let's talk
real.
about me for a minute.
But no, they get excited. So like the other day, I had forgotten my work shirt. And so I just kind of zipped up my jacket. I was like, oh. So I'm on the bus and I'm in a band t-shirt, a Perfect Circle. I'm wearing a Perfect Circle t-shirt. And this high school kid who has never said not two words to me, he stops and he goes, is that a Perfect Circle t-shirt? Oh my God, I love your t-shirt. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, so you listen to Tool, right? I was like, yeah. So then we started going on this whole music talk. And then that's it. Now he talks to me every single day. He like says hi to me and like gives me a high five and stuff. So I think for me with children, it's just about treating them. I mean, they're humans like anyone else, and they're
They
trying to
are.
learn and experience like we all are too. Um, so you just have to be patient, and you just have to open up your ears and try to show them. As long as you show them that you respect them and that what they have to say is important too, just as important, just as much important as what I have to say. Put them on the same level as yourself, and
Yeah.
they reciprocate pretty well to that.
Guys, if you're in the comments and you're watching at home or around the world, wherever you are, maybe you're driving down the road to who knows where you are. Maybe you're in New York City. Maybe you're in Alaska right now and the sun is up. Would the sun be up right now?
In
If we were
Alaska,
yeah,
no,
would the
not well,
sun
no, not this time of year.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
wherever you guys are, leave a comment. Big round of applause for Lonnie. If you guys have any specific questions or things you want us to talk about, please just leave it in the comments. And hey, there's one of your big fans right there.
He's got home
Yeah.
from work.
Yeah. It's great, guys. We appreciate you joining the conversation. I appreciate Lonnie coming on and talking with us. This has been the third live broadcast that we're doing, of course, with COVID and just the world that we're living right now. This is it. This is the way to conversation. And so I appreciate you guys and just coming along with us. So
Yeah.
talk a little bit about your show, your new podcast that you have going on.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. I've always wanted to do something like what you're doing. I love, as you know, just sitting down and talking with people and hearing their story and hearing what they've got to talk about. It helps me grow as an individual. So I actually had friends of mine, they're called the Tri Dads podcast. And it's a couple of guys that I know here in Wichita Falls. So they started their podcast. So I started listening to their podcast and I was like, oh my God, I'm so jealous of you. And so they told me what program they use and how they use and things like that. So I downloaded it and started playing with it. I'm like, oh my God, I can totally do this. So
Yeah, you
I did
can.
it. Yeah, I just like started it up and I've only have 2 episodes right now. But I'm wanting to grow them and wanting to get bigger, and maybe we can get you on one of those
Hey,
episodes one time. Huh?
amen. One day at a time. Man, that's just that's my mantra lately. Of course, we've anybody who's
Mhm.
been through around or anyone who's been in kind of NAAA, it's just one day at a time. You hear that a lot. And so it's just been coming back in me a lot. Like, today is the only day, Simeon. Don't, anxiety and fear and depression. It's like, just focus on today. So I'm proud of you. And what's the name of the show? Where can people check it out?
The podcast is called Chat to Chat. It's the number 2, Chat to Chat. And it's literally everywhere. It's on Spotify. It's on Google Play. It's on iTunes. It's on Overcast. It's on Pocket Cast. It's on Anchor. It's literally
anywhere you get your podcasting.
Anywhere you get a podcast, you can find it. Chat to number 2. There it is. Chat.
Yeah. Chat.
But yeah, I'm just bringing on people that I know and that I know that I have a good rapport with, and that we could talk easily and have fun and laugh. And it's just about letting loose and trying to make people laugh. Yeah.
There you go. Uh-oh, you're busting out the humor. I'm more like, I want to see, I was going to say, I was going to go with a joke and it wasn't going to work. So I'll just,
don't start with your dad jokes now.
Yeah. I was like, oh man, I'll tell you. Yeah. The kid, I'm like, that's funny. That's really funny. And they're like, no, it's not.
No,
nothing about that is funny. So, oh man, guys, we got Beth in there. She's like, this is so awesome. Of course, your mom, she's your biggest fan.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah. Talk about your mom for a second. She feels like she's like everyone's mom, right?
No, she totally is. You know that.
Yeah.
My mom, that's one thing that she always instilled in me, and how she is today is she always roots for the underdog. Like, she's just everyone's biggest fan, no matter what. And she does. She loves seeing me on stage and going to perform. And like, she's like, I'm going to try to go to your show tomorrow. I'm like, Mom, you've seen it. Like, it's the same show we've been doing. And she's like, I know, but I just like watching you. I'm like, all right, fair enough. But yeah, she's a big supporter of everyone in town that is willing to go up on stage and put themselves out there. She is a fan of it.
Yeah.
And if you perform on stage in this town as a music act or comedy act or something, you'll probably see my mom in the audience. She loves going out and having fun, and like me, she loves meeting people and talking with people and forming new relationships and stuff. So I definitely get that from my mom for sure.
Yeah, she's she is awesome, very welcoming, warm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it makes sense where you get a lot of that from. So, Lonnie, we're kind of coming to the end, but I want to open this floor up to you, and any topic you want to talk about, anything that's on your heart, anything you want to share, send out to your collection. I wrote it down, your collection of people.
My collection.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just going to give you the floor, and, just what's on your heart?
I'm just really, I appreciate what you're doing with this. I think that's why I really wanted to be on this, because you do that. You sit down with people, you listen to their stories, you learn from it, you grow from it. And that's something that I really respect. So I definitely wanted to be a part of it. And just to anyone listening, I have the best in the whole world. I was get choked up when I talk about it. Isn't that crazy? But my support system is amazing. I've always had people, cheering me on, and you can do it, and you can do it. And that's great. You should do that with all the people in your life, no matter what it is that they want to do. Obviously, if it's like, starting hard drugs or anything like that, don't encourage
Back
that.
off.
But, don't encourage that. But, if anything positive that someone wants to do with their life, you should definitely just encourage it and back your friends up and your family up, and just show love. Just be love. That's it. Just be love. And if you lead with love, then everything else will kind of fall into place. Yeah.
You've said, I like to write down when I'm talking with someone, what, I don't know, these one-liners or these one things, but yeah, life is love, lead with love. Life is all about the people you meet. That was one thing you said, and I love that so much. So everyone out there tuning in all across the world, all across Texas, all across Iowa Park, please just let's give a big round of applause for Lonnie coming on. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you just for the courage that you have to be you, because that can be difficult, just to be our true, authentic selves. And I'm glad that you shared the story about when you that you recognize that the people that were resonating with you were resonating with when you were being your authentic self.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I love that. We're gonna kick it back over. We got, you're gonna see all these. We got pandas, we got purple hearts, we got they're just blowing up. Your
Thanks,
collection,
Ryan.
your collection of people are happy. They're
So
very
nice.
happy.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
So it's Friday the 13th. Anything spooky happening at your house?
Yeah, just like cleaning.
Yeah,
It's
cleaning.
scary. Yeah, cleaning. No, I'm not real superstitious.
Yeah.
I got a Friday the 13th tattoo once. That one
Really?
right there. Yeah, that was a Friday the 13th tattoo I got.
Oh.
But no, I've never been real superstitious about that stuff. It's just another day.
Well, guys, we're gonna again give a huge steady focused congratulations, love, all of this. Send it out to Lonnie. We appreciate you so much. Everyone, and Lonnie, thank you for sharing with us. Guys, make sure you check her out, Chat to Chat. You can listen to her brand new podcast. Make sure to, anywhere you pick up your podcast, you can do that. Check out her band, Everything in Between. She's a great human being. And yeah, until next time, guys, if you want to go back in time, you can check us out, steadyfocused.com/88, and comment, like, love, share with somebody if you liked this. And until next time, I'm your host. I'm your number one, Mr. SimeonHendrix. And this is Steady Focused.